Hello, hello. How's it
Hello.
going? How are you?
I'm the very best. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Pouring a drop of Power's Rye from our final stop of March 2026.
Oh, lovely, lovely. One of my favorite drops as well. Not sure if I've ever mentioned that before.
No,
Um,
no,
I
never.
no, never. I have a little drop of Clonakilty single pot still in my glass. So our second last stop of March 2026, and I'm repping a bit of. This is not sponsored by Clonakilty, by the way. Just to preface, I just
I
so
know.
happen to be repping Clonakilty and drinking Clonakilty tonight.
Um, Over the last 3 years, we've gathered whiskies from all our stops, so like we're never short of a whiskey to pull from a shelf.
No, never short of a whiskey, never short of a bit of merch, whether it's in the form of a hoodie, fleece, cap, pen, glass, whatever it may be. And my house is coming down with merch and glassware. You're the same.
I know, honestly.
Thanks.
Can't move for stock.
I know, honestly.
If you're just joining us, welcome as we talk about our March 2026 whiskey bus. We're getting close to halfway to St. Patrick's Day, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to dive in, revisit our itinerary, and drum up some new interest in our whiskey bus. We have about 14 or 15 seats to sell, I think, on this whiskey bus. We've got 7 months to fill them, which we fully intend to do. And we want to talk about some updates to our trip, get you excited. If you've got any questions about it, if you've never joined a whiskey bus before, you're just tuning in, you want to know all about it, now's the time. Here we are. Hit us with the questions.
It is indeed. Yeah, I mean, this always happens. We're actually about to host a whiskey bus trip next Saturday. I see Kevin is in the comments. He's joining us next week. And the thing about the whiskey buses is the time between them flies in because you're finalizing little bits and pieces here and there. You've got other events. We're working on the whiskey cruise as well. We're doing our individual whiskey days experiences. So they come around so quickly. And we wanted to kind of bring the attention back around to this one as well, because after next week it is our next whiskey bus, right? And
I
it's
know.
Christmas, then it's St. Patrick's Day, and we're on the bus. um, it's unbelievable. So, and this is our March 2026 trip is very unique in so many different ways. So it's called Trí-Fecta. Tree means three in Irish, and we'll be visiting the three largest whiskey producing cities on the island of Ireland. We're going from Belfast to Dublin to Cork. We're bringing you to two of the largest distilleries on the island, Bushmills in the north and Middleton in the south. They couldn't be further apart from each other if they tried. And we're taking you from the smallest distillery in Ireland to the largest as well. So there's so many really cool angles to this whiskey bus trip. And we think it's a really good representation of kind of all perspectives from the industry, big, small, smaller producers, larger producers. But the most important thing is we bring you to the people who make the whiskey at every single stop along the way as well.
That's it. That's it. It's going to be a great trip, and it's the first time, like you said, we're visiting two of the biggest distilleries. Bushmills and Middleton are the most well-known distilleries, and we've
Exactly.
never done the two of them in one trip before. We've never been bold enough to go from one coast to another.
No, that's right. Yeah. And how many? About 6 hours between them. But the way we're doing it works out perfectly because we're breaking up the time in between with some incredible stops and a few experiences along the way that bring us closer to the soul of Irish whiskey as well, right? Because that's a big theme for us in 2026 was we listen to you, we listen to our guests and the feedback we get from every single trip that we do. And the number one thing and the number one kind of piece that everybody always loves is kind of getting closer really to the nature around the whiskey and the kind of physical hands-on experiences. For example, sowing barley in the barley fields at Galley with Clonakilty Distillery, which we'll be doing. We also ate oysters on a pier with Copeland last September. And we cut turf with Mickle out in the bog in Connemara and Galway. And all of those experiences they came out top every single time. So our focus for 2026 is to do even more of that and bring you closer to the literal soil, the water, everything that has contributed to producing the whiskey, because that's what you love. So
100%. And it's the time to be visiting distilleries now in Ireland. especially the smaller brands who would love to see visitors coming in from the United States, who would love to see more business coming in their door, people visiting, whether it's to buy a bottle or whether it's just to enjoy their hospitality and tell your friends all about them. As we know, the world of whiskey is going through a roller coaster ride at the moment, and all of the brands are looking forward to meeting our wonderful Whiskey Bus guests. So it's a great time and a great excuse if you've not booked yet, to come visit and darken their doorstep in the best way.
Absolutely, yeah. As to echo your words, it's a bit of a tough time at the minute, as we're very aware of. But we're not slowing down. We're still bringing busloads and boatloads of people and introducing them to Irish whiskey. So we don't plan on slowing down anytime soon, and certainly not in 2026.
Lots of familiar faces in the comments, and many of you have joined us on a Whiskey Bus before. And we'll twist your arm and try and get you to join us on another one. I know some of you already booked on this March one, and some of you are booked on our August bus as well, taking place in just over a week's time. This time next week, some of you will already be in Ireland, which is amazing. Yeah. I can't believe it's coming around so fast. We'd love to walk you through this itinerary, talk about what it looks like. As always with these itineraries, we don't give you all of the information ahead of time because we want to have a few surprises too, but we give you everything you need to know, help you with accommodation, pre or post, where you can stay, talk about where you should fly into, timings, all those kinds of things. And we'll gladly help you make a payment if you want to book tonight as well. We will certainly not hold back and prevent you from joining us. So all those details we'll share this evening. And if you have any questions, if you're watching this on a replay, you can get hold of us anytime at irishwhiskeyexperiences.com, or message Lauren or myself or Anthony through our social media channels. We promise to respond within 30 business days at all times.
We do operate across quite a lot of channels between our personal whiskey channels, our business whiskey channels,
and
our
crazy.
emails. It is bananas. It is bananas. Honestly, and to be completely truthful, the best place to get us all is info@irishwhiskeyexperiences.com, because all three of us see that email and one of us will get back to you.
I log into some social media accounts sometimes and I had forgotten they were there for about 3 weeks because I realized there's people been messaging me, and the problem is you're trying to create as much awareness through all the social channels, but in doing so you create communication opportunities, which is what you want, but then you end up missing some of them. So if we've missed any messages, apologies. But as Lauren said, info@Irish Whiskey Experiences will be the best one.
All three of us see that email, so if we miss that one, that's definitely our fault.
100%. Do we want to walk through the itinerary a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So this whiskey bus is taking place, you can see on the screen there, from the 14th to the 21st of March, which is honestly a brilliant time to visit Ireland because it hasn't quite hit peak visitor season. So kind of the attractions, if they're not quite as busy. The weather, actually, we've been so lucky in March the past couple of years with the weather. It's been very, very mild. It's been very kind to us for all our whiskey buses, to be honest, touch wood, over the years. And also it means, of course, that you will spend St. Patrick's Day in Ireland as well. We'll be in Dublin for St. Patrick's Day, which is something I think everybody should experience at least once in their lifetime. It's absolute bananas, but in the best way. It's organized chaos. So it's a great time of year, great time to visit Ireland for numerous reasons. And as Barry said, we can kind of guide you on any flight arrival times and things like that along the way. So we've had a slight tweak to the first couple of days of the itinerary. And for those of you who have already booked with us, you'll probably notice this. So due to a few scheduling, I don't want to say conflicts because it's very important for brands to attend these things. Provine is happening. It's a big drinks festival in Dusseldorf in Germany at the start of our whiskey bus. So I think it's taking place from the 15th to the 17th. So the guys at Two Sacks and Cologne have asked us if they can actually take over and host our welcome dinner instead, which allows them to be there for our bus and also be in Provine as well. So fair play to the guys for wanting to be in Ireland while we're visiting. So we will be with Brendan Carty, the founder of Kylebe Distillery, Shane McCarthy and Liam Brogan, the founders of Two Stacks Irish Whiskey, for a welcome dinner in the Mourne Mountains. So we mentioned that we wanted to bring you back to kind of the heart and soul of the whiskey, the kind of the inspiration, the landscape that surrounds the distilleries and the brands. And the Mournes is so linked with Killowen. It is nestled right in the foot of the Mourne Mountains, absolutely stunning mountains, just outside Newry. In NI, just about 30 minutes south of Belfast. So we'll be having a lovely welcome dinner with those guys. They'll be pouring some lovely whiskies for us, a few cask samples, no doubt, as well. And that'll be a great way to kick off our whiskey bus.
100%. And I know we've got Killowen fans, Two Stacks fans. I know the Stories and Sips members, we've had exclusive releases from both. We visited Killowen, we visited Two Stacks on previous whiskey buses. I know, like Stacey there, you've been to Killowen and Two Stacks as the queen of Killowen herself. You've been there and had a great old trip. This is like, when you talk about the pantheon that is Irish whiskey, and you talk about Middleton and Bushmills, these massive behemoths in both legacy and size, and then you talk about Killowen, which at full whack, if they're lucky to put out a barrel a week of whiskey compared to 3,000 barrels a day at Middleton, that gives you some sense of the scale. But I would argue that the best things come in small packages, and milliliter by milliliter and dollar for milliliter, there may be no greater concentration of flavor for your money than Killowen Distillery.
Correct.
And I fully believe that.
Correct. Brandon has pushed the boundaries of what everyone believed Irish whiskey was. He has proven that Irish whiskey doesn't need to be 15, 20, 25 years old to pack a real punch and pack some serious flavor. He's proven that it can happen with 4-year-old whiskey. So he's an absolute trailblazer in the industry, as many of you know. Many of you have met Brandon. And he's a gentleman as well. So he'll be leading the way, and the guys from Two Stacks as well. They've been incredibly innovative in the relatively, on the scale of things, the relatively short amount of time they've been around. With their Dram in a Can innovations, some really unique flavour profile whiskies. They have an incredible library of casks in their warehouse in Newry. So we'll be very excited to have those guys welcome us in Ireland.
We're doing something different with them. Like it's not
very
our normal.
No, yeah. So we won't be going to. I don't want to give too much away because I want to kind of keep some of it a surprise. But we'll be dining. We will be dining in the Mournes, but it might not be what you think it is. It won't necessarily be at the warehouse or at the distillery, and we'll leave it there. There won't be any hiking involved for your dinner. Do not worry. We have methods of transport that can get you up the Mourne Mountains to a certain level. And that's where we'll be. We're conscious of everyone flying in that morning, tiredness levels. Don't worry about that. We're not going to put you on a hike up the Mournes.
A tray of sandwiches in a wet bog, under a wet boggy bush with a tray of sandwiches for your $4,000 that you've spent.
Stunning. Beautiful. Yeah. The back of a minibus. Day 2 then. So this is the switch around. So we were originally going to visit McConnells on the first evening, but as I said, due to the scheduling, we have swapped things around a little bit, which no harm at all. We're not taking or removing anything away. We've just moved them around a little bit. So our second day will be in Belfast city itself. We'll be spending the day in the city, which is great because you get a little bit of extra time to spend in the city itself, which is brilliant. There's no shortage of things to do there, whiskey related and non-whiskey related. So McConnells, as many of you know, is situated in an old 19th century prison. It's situated in the A wing of Crumlin Road Jail, which was built between about 1843 to 1845. It's housed many prisoners over the years, including political prisoners throughout the Troubles, the period of conflict in Northern Ireland. And it kind of lay dormant for quite a few years until 2010, where they actually revived it to offer tours of the old jail. And then, of course, only last April, McConnells opened the doors to the A Wing with their beautiful distillery, and what they've done there is incredible. They've worked with a relatively small space to construct a distillery in there. It's absolutely beautiful. It's stunning, really, really modern distillery. So we'll be going there for a wee behind the scenes with Graham Miller, their master distiller. and a little cocktail masterclass as well. Many of you who were there on the whiskey bus last September loved it. It's a bit of crack. Everybody's shaking cocktails, seeing who can make the best one. So it'll be a great day, a great afternoon in the city, and yeah, time to explore after.
It is a special place, and they've done a tremendous job of building within a listed building, installing a distillery inside a listed building that has significant, as Lauren said, political history. And they've been very reverent. Like, this is not your dress up in a convict suit and sip on whiskey experience. It's very sensitive, delicate nature of the quite divisive history in the North, and certainly within even the four walls of the prison and the four wings. And it's an extraordinarily sensitive use of the space. And I think you'll see that, and how there's little nods to things, like little subtle nods and thoughtful gestures to whether it's time periods, events, people throughout history that have been in the prison for different reasons. So it's a remarkable place, and you won't believe it when you see it. Like, pictures don't even do it justice.
It's the only time we're ever excited to go to jail is when we're going to McConnells. But you're right, they've really honoured the space. As I said, they've worked very well with a limited space. And what's really interesting as well is when the McConnells team were looking back through kind of old archives of the jail, they found that there was a little bit of illicit poaching distilling that took place in the A wing. So it's kind of gone back to its roots, but obviously legally this time, which is really cool. So there's so much history, unbelievable.
Just to answer two questions there, one from Richard. Richard, regarding check-in, if you're already in the city, it will be abiding by the hotel's own check-in policy, which would most likely be between 3 and 4 o'clock for check-in. So if you're in the city, I've no doubt you can drop off bags early and let them know you're part of our group. We'll have somebody in the hotel. Whether somebody's there when you're there or not depends on when all the flights come in Dublin and when we pick people up. So you'll be on the list. They'll know to expect you. If there's a room ready, I've no doubt they'll be able to give it to you. And then the other question is from Martin. Martin, we don't include flights because we're not a travel agent. So by law, we can't offer flights. We can't offer overseas travel. We can't offer flights or any air packages, only land only, or in the case of our cruise, ship only. So we're happy to point you in the direction of how to get cheap flights. Websites we use all the time. Skyscanner is a website that's very helpful. If you're flying into Dublin, I would also check out Aer Lingus and look, all the main carriers, the US carriers, fly into Dublin: United, Delta, American, and Aer Lingus has great offers on at the moment for US to Ireland and Ireland to US flights. So if you want to check those out, you might be able to get a good deal now for March as well if you wanted to join us.
Yeah, like I was looking at flights recently. They are incredibly cheap at the minute. They're unbelievably cheap. Something I've never honestly seen in my life before. For both ways, for both, as Barry said, US to Ireland and Ireland to US. So yeah, if you are interested, definitely have a look at them now and see if you can find an option that works. But just on that point, actually, Martin, with your question, when booking flights, obviously you'll have to fly the day prior. So in this case, our trip begins on the 14th of March. You'll be flying on the 13th. Please do, and most of the flights into Dublin do arrive early morning anyway, but please do try to be in Dublin Airport early morning or early afternoon. And the reason we say that is we not caught out, we always make it work, but this year for our March trip, there were a few flights into Shannon that arrived very late evening, which means that anyone who does fly in that morning is basically dropping their bags off, a quick freshen up and back out to dinner. And it can get very, very tiring. So it's really for your benefit. Even if you can, stay the night before the trip begins, or certainly give yourself enough time to get there in the morning.
I'd almost push back a little bit and say we'd need you to be in the morning, because the afternoon flights is already too late, because we have to go up to Belfast from Dublin and then get you settled and then get you back down to Two Stacks and Clone again. So I would say our cutoff ideally be around 11 a.m. in an ideal world, and almost all flights will get in before that. So just keep an eye on, unless you find another one that's bringing you through Amsterdam or something unusual. That would be our recommendations. We'd hate to have you running up the motorway after the bus.
cases in hand.
Okay, so that's day 2. Oh
Day
yeah, where are we
2.
staying, Lauren? And when we're in Belfast?
Yes. Did it disappear from the slides? Yes, it
Yeah.
has. Okay, I can't believe we missed this out. So we're very lucky. We stayed here last September. And myself, Barry and Anthony have stayed in this hotel numerous times for various events in Belfast. And that is the Grand Central Hotel in Belfast city centre. It is a 5-star hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. It was only opened in 2018. So again, on the scale of things, it's a relatively new hotel to the city. It is so central. I mean, 5-minute walk and you're hitting some of the best bars in the city. 5 to 10 minutes. You're in the Cathedral Quarter. You're a walk away from the Duke of York, the Harp Bar, Madden's, Biddles. It's very central. It's very close to lots of great restaurants as well. So it's a perfect base for our 2 nights in Belfast. 2 nights? 3 nights. My apologies. Can't even remember our itinerary. 3 nights in Belfast. So day 3 then. The behemoth, day 3, will be traveling from Belfast about 1 hour, 10 minutes further north, up to the beautiful Causeway Coast, my home, my part of the world, to visit the old Bushmills Distillery. I don't think we need much of an introduction to this brand at this stage, to be honest. You have seen what we do at Bushmills. We're very lucky because I worked with them for almost 10 years. We have certain connections in the distillery. I did, yeah. Nobody knows that.
You don't mention it. You rarely mention
it. You're lucky I did, for the things we can get access to. So we can kind of, we're very lucky that we have friendships at Bushmills specifically with the master blender Alex Thomas, who many of you have met and many of you are familiar with from various live streams over the years. We have behind the scenes access to the old Bushmills Distillery, and we'll be doing things slightly differently again this year as well, just really to keep things fresh. We'll be kind of leaning into more of the surrounding areas of Bushmills too, primarily the water source, which is the River Bush, where the distillery takes its name from, more specifically a tributary called St. Colum's Rill, which you can't see from this photo. It's from kind of a little bit more to the side of this photo. That tributary actually flows right onto the side of the distillery. So it's been the water source for centuries, and it's a really vital part of the whiskey making process. So we'll be having a little dram by the River Bush as well, learning a little bit about the history of it and its significance to the distillery. And of course, I'm sure we'll have a few little cheeky warehouse samples to enjoy while we're on site there as well. So you're really experiencing, as we said at the beginning, one of the smallest distilleries in Ireland with Killowen, and one of the biggest distilleries with Bushmills. So it's a great contrast. It's a great kind of perspective on the industry, and it'll be a brilliant visit. And of course, no visit to Bushmills and the North Coast is complete without a stop at the Giant's Causeway. 2 minutes up the road, a UNESCO World Heritage Site consisting of over 40,000 basalt columns. And sure, we might have a little whiskey on the rocks while we're there as well, if the whiskey fairies bless us.
There's no avoiding, and we wouldn't want to, the history that's part of the North Coast in terms of distilling. There's an incredible legacy that stretches from Belfast over to Derry, over to Donegal, along the North Coast, that a lot of it was illicit over the years. I'm sure there's a lot of it still is, but those that aren't illicit and have actually got distillery licenses are doing incredible things, have done for many, many years. Like the distillery in Bushmills has been operational in one way or another since 1784. Current buildings in the late 1800s, but it's just every corner you turn in the distillery, it's more history. Every person you meet is just the most welcoming person. Like, it's just an incredible team. Many of them have been there 30, 40 years in the distillery as well. It's kind of between Middleton and Bushmills. They're kind of distilleries that if you work in production, once you get in there, you don't tend to leave. Yeah. I think it's because they take your passport and lock the doors, but everyone seems very happy.
Very much so. Very, very much so. Richard, no, the Carrick-a-Reid rope bridge won't, unfortunately. Again, we would love to fit everything into these itineraries that is possible in the cities and the towns and villages that we visit, but it just isn't always possible. However, I promise you the scenery and the views, if you haven't already been, that you get at the Giant's Causeway is phenomenal. It's absolutely stunning. And we'll certainly be pulling a little whiskey out of a bag or out of the water while we're down there, which
we've tried to book the rope bridge for tours in the past, and they won't take groups.
Yeah. And it's also, it's a fair walk down as well. And again, we're conscious that not everybody loves walks, not everybody loves heights. It's a fair height that you are above the water, above the sea. So we try to cover all bases and get as much nature and scenery in as we can. But unfortunately, it does mean that we have to leave certain elements out.
Can't wait to go back. It's my favorite. Bushmills is my favorite tour on the island of Ireland, hands down. And I'll tell that to Kevin O'Gorman in Middleton. Bushmills is my favorite all-encompassing tour.
It's the only distillery tour that you quite literally see from mashing right through to bottling. You see every single element of the whiskey production process, which doesn't normally happen in a lot of distilleries. Many distilleries don't have their own bottling plants. Many distilleries don't allow public or visitor access into their bottling plants. So it's great at Bushmills that you can do that. And they've also as well refurbed one of the old warehouses on site as well. It's actually probably one of the first buildings you look at besides this one, besides the old malt barn there. When you go on site. So we'll be in there drawing a whiskey out of the barrel right there and then.
With 3 nights in Belfast as well, there's oftentimes some of the best crack can be the party within the party, and evening times, dinners, drinks out in Belfast, historic places. We'll give you all the places to go in Belfast. Some of you are very familiar with it. If it's your first time in Belfast, we'll give you the little map somewhere to go. We'll tell you where we're going to go for a pint or a small pour. And there's just some iconic stops that also form part of Irish whiskey's history over the years that are now places where you can have a walk, you can have a drink, you can have dinner. We'll point them all out to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and that's another great point, actually, Barry, is you'll find with our itineraries, if you look on the website or when we give them to you, if you're coming with us, you'll notice that we try to leave the evenings free where we can. And again, that is from feedback that we have consistently received over the years of hosting Whiskey Bus trips, is you like to have your evenings free for a number of reasons: to relax, to do a little bit of exploring in the city, to have dinner at your leisure, to go for a pint, or just to get a little bit of downtime wherever we are. So we try to leave the evenings free and have the whiskey activities in the morning or the afternoon. So there's plenty of time to go to your favorite pubs, do a little bit of sightseeing outside of the whiskey experiences, or go for a lovely meal in one of the restaurants in each of our stops as well. And as Barry said, some of the best crack we've ever had on the whiskey buses are in the evenings in the cities, where we might not necessarily mean to all find each other again, but somehow everyone always congregates, and there's always one pub that becomes the pub that everybody flocks to at the end of the day, and it's great crack, great fun. Bit of music, a few pints, a few whiskies, great crack.
Bit of diddly eye.
Bit of fiddly dee, yeah.
If you're interested in our week in Ireland, you want more details and everything while we're skipping through this, you'll find them all on irishwhiskeyexperiences.com. We'll walk through the itinerary and we'll talk about logistics, flights, pricing, things like that as well near the end. But as always, everything we do is always listed on our website, and booking links, everything's included there on the website at all times. So feel free to jump in there at any time. And we'll move the party from the North Coast down to the East Coast.
We will indeed. So after 3 nights in Belfast and covering some incredible stops along the way, we'll be heading to Dublin for 1 night. But it's not just a night. It is St. Patrick's Day. Woohoo! So as Barry said, we're almost at the 6-month mark, halfway to Paddy's Day. We're almost halfway there, which is kind of scary to think. But we thought to ourselves when we were planning this itinerary, we cannot, in good heart, not do something in Dublin on St. Patrick's Day. So we'll be traveling from Belfast, relatively short trip, about 1 hour, 15 minutes, 2 hours south. And we'll be checking into the Herbert Park Hotel in Dublin for 1 night. I know we're only here for 1 night, but it's going to be a great night. On the way down on the bus in the morning, we will actually have, we're going to bring you a little bit of Irish culture. So we told you we're trying to bring you closer really to the heart of Ireland and Irish whiskey. We will have an Irish language speaker on board the bus for our journey from Belfast to Dublin. And they'll teach us a few words in Irish, a few phrases, so you can impress everybody when you go out into the parade later that afternoon. They'll be on board the bus for the journey down. I'm sure we'll find a little whiskey to pour as well along the way to get you ready, get you fueled up. We'll get a bit of music going on the bus too to get you ready for the big day. So logistically how this will work, because we've had a few questions, we've had a few emails come through for the day. So for St. Patrick's Day, we'll head straight to the hotel first. Now, we'll arrive there quite early in the morning. I would say probably about 10 or so. We're not going to get checked in at that time. Standard check-in is 3 p.m. across Ireland. So what we'll do is we'll drop your bags. We'll get the staff at the Herbert Park to leave them in your rooms when they're ready. And what we'll do is we'll drop you into Dublin City Centre for the parade. So the bus will take you from Herbert Park into the city centre. It's probably about 10 minutes or so to get in there, depending on traffic. The parade officially starts at 12 p.m. and I think it lasts until about 2 or 3 p.m. So we'll let you loose in Dublin. Fancy dress is not only recommended but strongly encouraged. Will be the same. Maybe not JJ Corey outfits like we did last March. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll pull out a Powers whiskey one.
We do encourage people to dress up. I mean, it's how often are you going to be in Dublin, in Ireland, on St. Patrick's Day, the capital of crack, where there's probably, let's face it, there's going to be more Americans there than there are Irish, all over, marching bands from every school and college in the United States, military wings and troops and all kinds with their army bands, and everything will be marching down through the streets of Dublin. We think you should dress up. We're going to dress up. We haven't decided what we're going to dress up as, but whiskey themed would be great. And we'll send you into the city with a little goodie bag of whiskeys to keep you warm on what could be a cold March day.
Maybe a little miniature Powers whiskey, being an old Dublin brand. We'll maybe give you a little Powers whiskey in your goodie bags. And then what we'll do is once the parade is over, the bus can, if you want, take you from the city centre back out to the hotel, and then the bus won't move for the rest of the evening. So we'll schedule a collection time again from the city centre back out to Herbert Park. You don't have to take that offer. If you want to stay in the city centre, if you're having the crack, if the pints are flowing, the crack's flowing, if you're enjoying yourself or you want to have a bit of dinner in the city centre, we can point you in the direction of the local taxi service, which is free now, or Uber, either works in Dublin, and you can make the short trip back out to the hotel a little bit later on in the evening. So it'll be a great day.
We'll have recommendations on which crazy, chaotic places to hit and turn up to around Dublin on the day. We'll be out and about in Dublin. We'll have a WhatsApp group, so we'll be able to communicate with you all, share where we are. You'll be able to share where you are. We'll all have a great time in Dublin that day. Look, it's a chance to let your hair down. It's when Lauren talked about getting to know the heart and soul of Ireland. The St. Patrick's Day, it's us, it's who we are. It's our patron saint. Technically it's a holy day in Ireland where we should all be going to mass, but
you can go to mass if you want.
More time in the pubs, and we can go to mass if you want.
Go to mass if you want, yeah.
No issue there. But look, it's going to be a whiskey adjacent day, getting to know the heart and soul of Ireland. Yeah,
and we did think about kind of hosting some kind of structured event around this, and then we thought, no, what is it? It's already there. Dublin do St. Patrick's Day so incredibly well, and we couldn't in good faith take you away from that while you're in the city. So yeah, that's how we'll be spending our St. Patrick's Day. We can give you little clues. Me and Barry and Anthony will kind of hop around a few of the pubs, and you can find us. We'll give you some clues as to where we are, and you can find us.
A few questions there. Shane, welcome. You came in late. Will this be on the website? Yeah, this is live on our website, irishwhiskeyexperiences.com. Just scroll down, click on the experiences page, scroll down, you'll find the Trí-Fecta, 3 different cities that we're hitting. and you'll find all details there for booking. In terms of will Nigel be driving, and Nigel did a great job driving last September, or Nick did. So
Ryan. He was called Ryan.
Ryan, yeah. So Ryan,
not Nick.
we don't know at this stage who drives the buses. So we put the buses out for tender, and we try and get. We would love to have the same drivers all the time, but often it's not possible because of conflicts, because of costs, because of just varying costs. So we don't know is the honest answer. But we will always have a luxury coach with a great driver, no matter what.
There's also a few questions coming in there about Bar 1661. Massively recommend. So what we do, that's actually a great point. What we do for every stop, so in this case it's Belfast, Dublin and Cork, we, along with your itinerary and the kind of timings for each day, what we do is for each stop, we'll provide you with a list of bars, restaurants, and also recommendations for sightseeing as well. And the list is not exhaustive. If you have heard of a name of a bar or a restaurant online and you think that looks cool, just ask us. We can give you so many recommendations. We know all of these places inside out at this stage, so we're more than happy to give you additional recommendations, but we will put a list of bars and restaurants on there for you to go and check out, and 1661 is certainly on there. We'll be in Dublin next weekend. Kevin, obviously you will too. Highly recommend a visit, Barry. I know you'll back me up on this one as well. The flavour of their cocktails is second to none. It's an award-winning cocktail bar in Dublin. The team there are phenomenal, and they work not only with Irish whiskey, but many other Irish spirits, gins, pocheens, to create some of the most amazing flavour profiles you've ever tasted in your life. So highly, highly, highly recommend.
Their cocktail menu was just shortlisted in the top 10 cocktail menus in the world. And this from just a passionate team, just an unbelievably passionate team led by Dave Mulligan in Dublin. And yes, we do recommend booking that because it'll get very busy. You can start booking that now if you wanted to. They also opened a second bar right in the heart of Dublin in O'Connell Street, practically on the route of the parade. What's the name of that again? Do you remember?
Let me go check.
So they've opened a more less of a cocktail influence and more of a great hospitality, great pints, but with great cocktails, but leaning into more of a I think more of an everyday drinks, but it's become already really popular. It's called the Capel or something, or no, it's the Lauren will find it. But that's the second bar they've opened now, so the same team behind it as Bar 1661. The name 1661 comes from the year that the British outlawed the production of poaching or distilled spirits in Ireland, and illicit distilled spirits. And there wasn't another drop of poaching legally made until, was it 2005, 2006 in Ireland. So Bar 1661 honors that year. And for the longest time, they only had poaching, and now they have other cocktails as well, or other drinks as well. A lot of Irish whiskey focus in there as well.
The Sackville Lounge.
Sackville Lounge. The Sackville Lounge.
It's just, it's literally just off. It's on Sackville Place, sorry. Literally just off O'Connell Street. Yeah, so Sackville Lounge.
So in terms of a time for reservations there, so the parade will be from 12 till about 3, I'd imagine. 3 or 4.
Yeah, Kevin is probably talking about next week in Dublin as well. Kevin, I would say you would be, what time does it close at on a Saturday?
Oh, honestly, if you can snag any reservation time there on a Saturday.
But it's
or
also
Friday or Saturday.
He's talking about both.
Yeah, but we can't keep up with you. We can't keep up.
I like your style. I like this. Okay, let me see what time on a Saturday. Okay, so on a Sunday it closes at 11, and on a Saturday it closes at 12:30. So I would say our spots experience next week will probably be over by about 9:30, 10. I would book for that time. And even, you can even, when you're in the city centre, I would grab a cab over So if you can grab one, definitely do. We might even head over. Be great.
And then if you're in the night before, look, any time is good for grabbing a reservation.
Or in Dublin on the Sunday before we head to Bowan, you've got that full morning and afternoon free. So any time at all, you can grab a table. Highly recommend. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got sidetracked about Bar 1661 there, but it is so great. And I do think the team there are amazing, and they really kind of brought the cocktail scene in Ireland to the forefront again. So they deserve credit where it's due. Day 5. So this is very exciting, isn't it? This is very exciting.
It is, yeah. So we've got something special here, something we've never done before. It's the first of its kind, and we would call this really a signature experience within Irish whiskey experiences, just like cutting turf in a bog or sowing barley in a field. We're going really back to the heart and soul of Irish whiskey here. We're going to a historic forest in County Laois, a woods called Kylebe Woods in Stradbally in County Laois. It's the home to Ballykilcavan Estate, which is a large farm, brewery and forest estate in just about 45 minutes outside of Dublin. And why we're going to this estate and going to visit these woods is connected to Middleton Distillery. About 7 years ago, Middleton Distillery launched a very innovative release of whiskies called Middleton Very Rare Dar Gaelach. Dar Gaelach is Irish for Irish oak. Gaelach is Irish. Dar is oak. The name Derry, city of Derry, comes from Dara, oak, city of oak. And what the Dar Gaelach series of whiskies set out to do was to showcase what Irish whiskey could taste like matured in rare Irish oak. We don't use very much Irish oak in Ireland. We don't have access to a plentiful supply of it. We have access to American oak even easier than we have access to Irish oak. We also don't have very many Irish oak forests in Ireland, and even fewer of an age that would give us trees of a suitable height and suitable quality that could be cut down and turned into barrels. So a number of forests have been selected over the last few years to showcase what it would be like to age super premium, super aged, 20-plus-year-old single pot still whiskies in these oak casks. Kylebe Wood is one such wood where 7 trees were identified. They were identified with the help of a man called Paddy Purser, who's an arborist, and he worked with the team at Ballykilcavan to identify 7 great trees that were due to be felled and could be utilized to make wooden barrels that could then eventually age Irish whiskey. So what they did was they cut down these 7 trees. They were sent off to the sawmills in Galicia, in Spain. What's the name of it? Is it the cooperage? Antonio Paez? Cooperage?
Yep.
And there they turned these 7 trees into 42 barrels of whiskey. So 6 barrels per tree, 42 different barrels. They quarter sawed the wood. They then seasoned the wood outdoors. For about 18 months to 2 years. They then filled the barrels that they made with those staves with these particular ones. They didn't fill them with anything. They're virgin Irish oak. So they brought them back to Middleton Distillery, and they filled them up with pot still whiskey that had been aging for anywhere from 13 to 22 years in bourbon barrels. They left it inside the Irish oak for up to about a year and a half, and released it as a set from Kylebe Wood. Now I have a bottle of it here I can put up on the screen. So here is a bottle of Middleton Very Rare Kylebe Wood, Dar Gaelach Kylebe Wood. So this bottle can be traced back to the barrel number that came from the tree, and in this case, this is tree number 6, bottle number 589. Batch number 1. So tree 6 had 7 different barrels, and those 7 barrels gave us about 1,500 bottles of whiskey. This is 589 of that. So tree number 6, right? That's important, because when we go to Ballykilcavan and go visit the woods, Kylebe Woods, we're going to see the tree stump of tree number 6 and tree number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 7. And we're going to get an education from the Middleton team on Irish oak. We are, of course, going to sip the whiskey that came from the wood that was that made this whiskey. And it's going to be an incredible experience, because how often do you get to go back to where the tree came from that gave you the barrel that eventually gave you the whiskey? So we're tying it all together. Like,
Yeah.
we're going from the land. Eventually, a few days later, you're going to be down the very distillery where the whiskey was distilled. You're going to learn more about it there. I've never been to any of the woods that Middleton Dargaelic has been aged in,
Me neither.
that the barrels have come from. I can't wait for this. It's going to be a super, super experience for us, a signature experience.
Magical, like sipping whiskey in a forest, learning about Irish oak. And Ger Buckley, the Middleton Master Cooper, he has outwardly said to us, Barry, in the past when we've been down there, Irish oak is difficult. That's why it's not used very often. So it's a real marvel that they were able to achieve such a beautiful range of whiskies. It finished in Irish oak, and I'm very, very excited for this day. I think it's a grounding day after St. Paddy's Day, out in the forest, little whiskey, education, absolutely incredible. Very, very, very excited with that. And I think, as you say, it's a great kind of pre-experience to actually visiting the distillery itself as well. So we're very, very excited for that.
That stop is en route between Dublin and arguably the real capital of Ireland.
Oh, here we go. I was waiting for this. It's in County Laois. County Laois.
Did you go out of that? Mind your County Laois.
County Laois. No, I meant the forest is County Laois, not the real capital. Anyway, we will be. So before we actually head to Cork, so Cork is Kevin's already said it in capital letters there. Cork is our final stop of the week. We'll be there for 3 nights. So we do 3 nights Belfast, 1 night Dublin, 3 nights Cork. So a lovely little sandwich of Dublin in the middle. So we're staying in Cork. So we'll do the Middleton Dargaelic experience on the way, and then we'll head down and we'll check into the stunning hotel in Cork, which is the Montanati. We stayed here in March this year when we were in Cork, and it is just beautiful. Incredible views over Cork City, as you can see there. This is their restaurant and bar area where you can have your dinner with beautiful views over the city. They have a spa. They've got spa facilities as well. The rooms are gorgeous. It's a huge hotel. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a little bit further outside of the main kind of city centre area, but it's either a quick walk down and you're on McCurtain Street where the Shelburne Bar is.
It's 1 mile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a 15-minute walk downhill. 15-minute walk downhill. It's a 45-minute walk back up. So.
Depending on how many whiskeys you've had. But yeah, again, taxis, super easy to grab one down into the city centre. It's no issues whatsoever. We had 0 complaints when we stayed here in March from any of our guests in terms of navigating into the city because the hotel was so gorgeous and it's absolutely worth it. They've a pretty solid selection of whiskey as well. Gorgeous food. A beautiful place. So this will be our home for the final 3 nights. Lovely, lovely hotel to relax in. Day 6 then, this is, again, not sponsored by Clonakilty. However, this is one of my favourite places in the world. Clonakilty town itself, out in West Cork, but also more specifically Galley Head and the barley fields of Galley Head, where the Scully family, the founders of Clonakilty Distillery, have been farming for 9 successive generations. And what we're planning to do, again, is you really feel connected to the whiskey and you feel like you're a part of the whiskey production journey. I certainly did when we did this in March, just past. We all 3 of us looked at each other and we were like, we have to do this again. So some of you have been on our bus that took place in August 23, so 2 years ago, where we were out in the barley fields. We had a little sip of whiskey out there. We had a bit of lunch. That was the day that the barley was harvested. So you saw the combine harvester go through the fields, I think, the day after we were there. It's very, very different in March. There's no barley growing, which is exactly where we come in because we get to sow some barley. So Michael Scully, as I said, founder of Clonakilty, he gives us a little handful of barley. and he marks out a little patch for each of our guests. He marked out a little plot of land in the barley field for each of us, and he showed us how to sow some barley. And you have the most stunning views overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. You've got Galley Head Lighthouse over to the side as well. It is just magical. And of course, we'll be sipping a little drop of whiskey while we're out there too, led by the team from Clonakilty. Oisín Mulcahy, the head distiller and blender, he'll be joining us too. Such an amazing experience.
I love Clonakilty. It's home as well to the first Cork whiskey we released in Stories and Sips, the single cask of Stories and Sips Clonakilty pot still whiskey aged in a Virgin American oak cask. We'll taste some whiskies from barrels and casks when we go to Clonakilty as well. It's really great. And again, small family-run distilleries really value our visiting because we get to leave as ambassadors for these small distilleries where they don't have the budget to have ambassadors around the world. You're the ambassadors. So you didn't know this, but not only are you going to be working sowing barley, you now have to promote the distilleries around America and not get paid for it. Just that's all part of the package.
It's in fine print. It's in fine print at the bottom of all the itineraries. No, that this is such an incredible experience. And what's even better is the team from Clonakilty will send us updates on how the barley is growing as throughout the year. So Sean, he sent me an update a couple of months ago on how the barley that we sowed in March really makes you feel like you're part of the as I said, the whiskey production process and the journey, literally from grain to glass, which Clonakilty very much pride themselves in being. Farm field to glass, they actually pride themselves in being. So you really do feel like you're connected to the landscape, the distillery, the people. It's amazing. And of course, as Barry said, we'll be heading into the warehouse as well, where Oisín will no doubt crack open a few barrels for us to have a little sample of the whiskey, cast-drawn whiskies. And then we'll head back to the distillery for, we'll have complete private access of the distillery. So we'll head back there for a quick tour and a tasting for what will be an incredible penultimate day of the bus.
It's going to be great. That evening, we go back to Cork. So it's about an hour in the bus back to Cork. And you can settle in the hotel if you like. Some of our guests last time liked to sit out in the patio and look out over Cork City with a nice whiskey old fashioned in their hands, or a pint of Beamish, pint of Murphy's. Others took it upon themselves to, at first opportunity, jump into a cab and get down to the Shelburne bar at the bottom of the hill, where they could work their way through their 450 odd Irish whiskies that are on the shelf. One of Ireland's biggest whiskey bars, and great educated staff behind the bar there. A whiskey menu that every day when they print it goes out a day later because new whiskies get added, bottles get drained. I'd say they spend more money on ink than they do on labor in that building.
Or they have to reprint the menus because we've drained a few bottles over the course of the nights as well. That actually happened when we were there. Both years actually we've been in Cork, we've drained a few of their bottles, so they had to reprint the menus because of us.
That's a fact. That is indeed a fact.
Yeah, Cork is home to some of the best bars on the island. It really is. You've got the High B, which is just an institution in Cork. Great pints of Beamish. And again, yes, if you are a stout drinker, as soon as you cross that county border into Cork, you stop drinking Guinness and you start drinking Beamish or Murphy's. You gotta move with the locals, you know.
You gotta support local. You gotta support local. You have to support the Dutch-owned businesses in Cork.
Don't take away from the uniqueness of it.
Our last day then is always the pinnacle of a trip that involves a trip to Ireland, because is there another distillery that is more of a mecca for Irish whiskey than Middleton? I don't think there is. Obviously, it's the largest distillery in Ireland by a factor of about five times bigger than its nearest rival. And it is home to your favorite whiskey brands: Redbreast, Powers, Spot Whiskies, Middleton Very Rare, Jameson, Napo Castle, the list goes on, Method and Madness. And we are always taken care of as if we are Hollywood royalty when we arrive at Middleton. Literally, the red carpet gets rolled out for us. Production practically pauses because the people responsible for production. I'm talking about the master distiller, Kevin O'Gorman, the master cooper, Ger Buckley, master blender, Dave McCabe. They greet us. They're the ones welcoming the bus into Middleton. And it is maybe the most organized day of our week because they run that place like a military operation. Everyone, all the team in Middleton, you see them, they've got their printouts of the itinerary of how to take care of us for the day. It's so impressive. We get to sit back and watch them guide us through the distillery for the day. We're going to get behind the scenes access where the public doesn't go. You're going to get access to the people that the general public can't meet. You're going to learn about whiskies in ways that nobody else learns about. And most importantly, you're going to taste whiskies that no one has ever tasted before, because we're going to tap casks. We're going to visit warehouses. We're going to go where no ticket will get you access to, only a ticket on the whiskey bus. And that's a fact. And it's we have a standing annual visit to Middleton that they're delighted to see us every year. And they know that every year there will be a whiskey bus visit to Middleton Distillery, and they roll out the red carpet. I mean, there were stops on our last during our last visit to Middleton where between scheduled events, suddenly a bottle of Redbreast 27 appeared, and out comes Eric Ryan, the distiller, to talk about Redbreast 27 for 10 minutes before we get handed off to our next point. It's just the day. That day alone, to me as a whiskey fan, justifies the entire trip. That one day alone.
It never loses its the awe factor. Like, I have honestly lost count of how many times I've been to Middleton, both just as a member of the public, stepping in for a tour, and on the whiskey bus, and it never ever has lost the wow factor for me. No. Just the people, how passionate they are. They honestly, you meet people like Kevin O'Gorman and Ger Buckley, and they're so passionate when they talk about their craft that often they're reminiscing about their 47 years at the distillery, and they're tearful. There's tears in their eyes because they talk with so much passion about the people that have gone before them and have taught them their craft, and it's moving. It really is moving at times as well.
They're very proud.
Never lost.
They're very proud of what they do there, but they're playful around it. So I remember on the last visit there last year, again, it was our last stop there, and we'd been to Kerry and West Cork distilleries, all new distilleries, and then we were arriving at Middleton, which is one of the oldest on the island, dating back 200 years, 1825. So they have some of the oldest stock of whiskey on the island too. And about half an hour into our visit, Kevin, the master distiller, leaned over to me and he said, what would have been the oldest whiskey you've tasted so far on the trip? And I thought about it. I said, I think we had a 12-year-old whiskey down in West Cork. And he just nodded and smiled and said, we might start with 12. And I knew then it was only going to go up from there. Like, we ended with, I don't know, it was a 27-year, 30-year whiskey that we were tasting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What was the one?
The Ferret de Trancé.
We had the Ferret de Trancé he opened in A1 or A2, but what was the...
We had a 25-year-old port. 25-year-old port cask.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. It was incredible. It was unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, you're not showing up to. We don't show up to Middleton to give you a Redbreast 12 or a Jameson. The team there really do treat us like royalty. As we said, it's Kevin O'Gorman, the master distiller, is at the door waiting for us to come in. And we're very lucky.
They love showcasing what they're the best at. And there isn't a day we've been down there where at the end of it, Kevin doesn't turn to us and say, was that okay? Because he wants to make sure that we had the best day. And we're looking at him going, are you joking us? Is it okay? Like, one stop on that day would have been okay, but he gave us 5 or 6 stops. It's just unbelievable.
I know. And yeah, just the whole day from start to finish is amazing. Like, I would also say as well, each section of the Middleton day would be enough as well. Like, each section that they divide the day up into just blows your mind, and then you're like, how can we get better than this? And then somehow it does. Unbelievable.
Don't tell them in Middleton, or they might only give us one of them.
I won't.
So look, we've given you a broad overview of the 7 nights, the 7 days, where we're going to go. There'll be surprises along the way. There always are. You'll taste more whiskeys than you expected. You'll fall in love with more whiskeys than you even knew existed. You'll wonder, how are you going to survive when you go back to parts of the United States that don't have all of these whiskeys, but you know how to get them. And if you want to join us on the trip, we'd love to have you. So we still have places available, and we'll be marketing this heavily over the next few months to make sure we fill the bus. In terms of the details of it, all of our trips include 7 nights in a 4-star hotel, all of the transport between all the locations, all the breakfasts, and at least a lunch or a dinner every day. Sometimes there's lunches and dinners. All of the whiskey experiences, and then shipping for up to 20 bottles home as well. The whiskey experiences, like you could go the whole week, and if you didn't want to put your hand in your pocket, you'd get enough whiskey.
Yeah.
You'd also often get access to rare whiskies that are made available only to us. We will share more details of those on the week itself, or maybe a little bit before, depending on what we've got available. But it just, some distilleries and brands want you to get access to something that might be exclusive to the Whiskey Bus. And something we haven't mentioned here is that every one of our Whiskey Bus experiences includes at least one special commemorative bottling created especially for us. And I don't even know where that one's coming from this bus, but Lauren probably knows. And we won't say any more about it until we have, but there's always one. There's always one.
There is. So it really is an all-inclusive package. As soon as you touch Irish soil, I know we mentioned earlier that the literal only thing we cannot include is flights. And as Barry said, that's because we're not a travel agent. But as soon as you touch Irish soil, we pick you up from the hotel, we bring you from A to B on our own bus, our private luxury coach. We'll travel to all the stops, all the places. You never, as Barry said, you don't have to put your hand in your pocket, barely any stage of the week. All your breakfasts are included, everything, your lunch, most lunches every day, your dinners in the evening, some of the evenings as well. So it really is an all-inclusive package. And as we keep mentioning, we pride ourselves in offering experiences that you cannot get if you just show up to the door of a distillery. We're very lucky with the friendships that we've built between the three of us, between myself, Barry and Anthony, over the years of working in the industry. And really our entire lives have been involved in the industry for a number of years now. We're very lucky that we have those friendships that allow us to do these things. So it really is a behind the scenes all-inclusive experience. So the cost...
Sorry, Lauren, just one of the things we often talk about as a team when we're coming up with experiences is we're often holding each other accountable to, is this an experience or is it just a visit? And if it's ever just a visit, we dismiss it. So we do that for our daily one-off, like daily tours we do once a month in Ireland. We do it for the Whiskey Bus, because if it's not something that if it's something you can get anywhere else, why would you come with us? Exactly. So all of the bits have to be custom, a bespoke tour. As a collective of 7 days, it just doesn't happen anywhere else.
Exactly. And we really do give we give each other, and we give the itinerary before you ever see an itinerary launched on a website. We have given it hell. We look at distances between distilleries, between stops. We think, is it comfortable? Is the timings right? Is it an experience that we ourselves would want to do? And it absolutely is. And we really do give it hell behind the scenes to bring you the best that we possibly can. So the cost for this trip, it's on all the details, the full itinerary, everything is on our website. You can see at the bottom, irishwhiskeyexperiences.com. So the price for this trip is €4,200 per person sharing. If you can pay that up front, if you wish, but if you want to split it into monthly installments, again, we appreciate your hard-earned money and your time, so we want to make it as easy as possible for you if you do wish to join. The monthly payments are there, and in this trip it is €350 per month, with the full balance due, of course, the month before the trip, so in February 2026. And the single supplement, as you can see there, is €500 as well. So if you are traveling solo, or you want a single room, it's an extra €500 on top of that.
Just to answer one point there, Richard, you mentioned Cork Whisky Fest. So Cork Whisky Fest have changed the dates of their festival to be a week later. They normally started, or they have the last 2 years. They've started it the day we finish our Whiskey Bus, and we've timed it accordingly. But since we declared our Whiskey Bus, they've changed the dates to a week later. So if you do want to attend Cork Whisky Fest, you might have to extend the trip a little bit. But we discovered that only very recently.
Yeah.
But don't you worry, we will have more sampling and experiences than you can shake a stick at with the Whiskey Bus this year.
There'll be plenty of whiskey throughout our Whiskey Bus week.
And so look, if there's any other questions, let us know. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about our next one coming in August. I'm excited about this one coming in March. I'm excited about our whiskey cruise coming in November, and we have more. And we've got another one in September next year, which has only got, I think, 2 places left on it.
2 places left. This one's 50% sold, yeah. And what tends to happen is we notice whether it's Christmas gifting or whatever it tends to be, the places do tend to pick up coming around December as well. So and it does start to fill up. So if you are interested, honestly, the flights are so low at the minute. I would avail of that. If you are interested, don't hold back. We promise you we will give you the time of your life. And the one thing we haven't mentioned either is all 3 of us, so myself, Barry, and Anthony, it's only us 3. There's nobody else. We curate and plan and execute all of these experiences, every single one. So we're behind the scenes working on them. We're piecing together the week itinerary, and we also host them as well. So we're the faces that you see throughout the entire week. We'll be with you at every stop. There might be an occasion where, because Anthony, of course, has Irish Whiskey Auctions, he might have to jump off for a day, but there will be periods throughout the week where all 3 of us are on the bus with you. And we want to keep it that way. We pride ourselves in being a very kind of
hands-on
facing, hands-on team as well. So we'll be there too. Whether you like it or not, you'll get the 3 of us.
I'm looking forward to meeting some of you we've never met before. Douglas, I've never met you before. We're looking forward to hanging out with you. You're coming in and doing a pub crawl in Dublin. We'll give you now the same advice we give people on day 1 of the whiskey bus, which is keep some powder dry. Keep some powder dry, because it's a long week. It's certainly not the bus equivalent of a booze cruise. We don't overload you. It's samples, it's tastes. There's no prizes for being horizontal on the floor on day 1. If anything, there'll be reprimands. But rather, it's a week where, we've said it before, we said it about our cruise, and we were on doing this a couple of weeks ago. There is no greater joy, we've discovered this firsthand, than waking up the morning of day 7 as fresh as you woke up the morning of day 1 or 2, because you get to enjoy so much more. So we're not trying to parent you, but all I'll say is that it's like going into a sweet shop, a candy shop with a blank check. That's when you come to Ireland and you want to eat and drink everything. So try, I know it's crazy to even say it, try and find some moderation over the course of the week for yourselves. You'll be thankful for it.
Steve, there absolutely is a bus transfer back to Dublin. So just the same at the start of the week, we'll pick you up from Dublin Airport. So the airport that everybody flies into, will take you to Belfast, and the same way on the way home as well. We'll be doing the run from Cork back to Dublin Airport in plenty of time for any flight. So what we do is, when everyone who's joining us, we get you all to submit your flight information, and we'll schedule a collection time, which is centered around most of the flights coming in, and a departure time, which is centered around the earliest flight out of Dublin Airport that day. So that would be the Saturday, the 21st. So the flight out that day will give you enough time to be there about 2.5 to 3 hours before your flight. So there absolutely will be. Yep.
Steve, you got to join us. You've been on one before.
Steve,
come back. Come back to us. Yeah.
Come back to us.
Everybody
come back. It's actually lovely that we genuinely do love seeing all the return faces, because it gives us faith that you enjoy what we're doing, and we're obviously doing something right. So it's great to see so many returning faces, and we'll have a few next week as well, which is great on the August bus. Hard to believe it's a week away, literally a week today. Crazy.
Folks, you know how to reach us, irishwhiskeyexperiences.com for booking, for more logistical details. They're all on the website. If there's something we haven't covered, just send an email to us through the contact form on the website. We'll get back to you. And I say Lauren will get back to you. And me and Anthony will just make sure that we're off the hook for all these responses. Lauren's got them. Look, it's going to be, it's another first. We're covering new ground, covering an ambitious 3 cities. But I feel like from the people that have already booked, you're capable of this. You can do it. I believe in you. And we're going to have a great week. It's going to be a great week.
I'm very, very excited. Spending St. Patrick's Day with you all in Dublin will be great crack. Some incredible experiences. You meet the people behind these brands, behind the labels of the whiskey, as we always say, that you don't normally see. So it's great, great fun. really informal week, nice and relaxed, educational, bit of fun along the way is the most important thing. And we always have great crack, the three of us. So I'm excited for it.
Looking forward to it. So we will see you all soon. And I think that's it for this evening.
I think so too. We have, we've our next whiskey bus is literally next week, next Saturday, the 16th, it begins. Can't wait to see Kevin and everyone who's joining us next week back in Ireland again. It'll be a brilliant week. Really, really can't wait for it. It's, as I said, it's unbelievable how quickly they come around, honestly. But we have that to get ready for this week. So we'll keep some powder dry, get a good sleep ahead of the week.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on a bus or on our Facebook groups, or let us know how we can help you at any time. We're really excited for it. We love all of these whiskey buses, and can't wait to make some new whiskey friends. Sinead.
Slán everybody. Thank you very much.
Everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great night.